Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today, we would like to respond to the question as why statistical literacy is essential for MEL or monitoring, evaluation, and learning professionals. Remember that our guiding principle is that until people speak statistical language. Why do we need to worry about statistics when we are involved in MEL activities? Let us start reflecting on this paragraph. So if you aspire to be a successful monitoring, evaluation, and learning professional, developing statistical literacy is crucial. Statistics helps you collect, analyze, and interpret data accurately, allowing you to make informed decisions, track program impact, and communicate findings effectively. Without statistical literacy, MEL professionals may struggle to identify trends, assess project effectiveness, or provide evidence-based recommendations. I leave you to reflect on this, but this makes everything you need to know that MEL professionals should be statistical literate. Otherwise, you won't be doing your job right. So let us define monitoring, evaluation, and learning. So this is made of three processes, but those processes are interrelated and combined to make a comprehensive framework that can be used to track the performance, the outcomes, and impact of different initiatives, either programs, projects, policies, etc. So MEL is basically designed to ensure that programs are achieving their objectives, they are operating efficiently, and continuously improving over time. There is a keyword here, keywords that I highlighted: track and ensure. And the other one that was not highlighted, but also key: continuously improving over time. Things change, things are evolving. The context may change, the behavior and the cultural shifts are there. We need to tackle issue in the system change perspective, where we need to consider the holistic approach instead of just going for units. So monitoring evaluation is a key for that. It is a solid, or to provide a solid foundation for decisions on program. We have so many, we have to make so many decisions, but monitoring needs to be at the center. Either designing a new program, scaling the pilot intervention up to the whole population, to the additional entities or regions. So we need results from monitoring, and evaluation, and learning. And even funding. You can't fund anything that is not making sense or that is efficient and effective in terms of implementation. And then to know that, we need to revert to the monitoring, evaluation, and learning. So to do so, it needs to lean on the learning agenda. There should be a learning agenda in every program, and this needs to be well articulated with learning questions. Have well articulated learning questions. I think we dive into this later because maybe I need to make a case here that monitoring, evaluation, and learning, it's all about responding or answering to the questions. We need to have questions, valid and relevant questions that will guide all the implementation of the program, projects, policies, and other initiatives. So by so doing, statistics will be key to every process of the monitoring, evaluation, and learning. So you may wonder, what is evidence-based decision making? To know that, we need the action that is evidence-based and the actions or decision that is not evidence-based. So on the left, we have what is evidence-based decision making, and on the right, we have the opposite. So it is evidence-based decision making when decisions are based on reliable facts and a good research. I think that's underlining factor of the evidence-based decision making. When we have a thoughtful decision after having made a research departing from real, reliable facts, the decision is likely to be evidence-based. So the opposite, those are the decisions based on instinct or guesswork. So another point for evidence-based decision is using trusted studies and data. So the opposite, we are using personal stories or opinion. Of course, that cannot be evidence-based. So looking at the scientific studies and carefully checked reviews, those are evidence-based decision making this, yes. And as opposed to doing things because of a tradition, because this has been done like that, so that's not evidence-based decision. Because we we need to accommodate the changes, the shift. So considering both numbers and real life examples, like interviews, as opposed in ignoring facts and contradictory information. Checking if the source of information is trustworthy, adapting the information to the specific situations instead of using one-size-fits-all solution without adjusting, listening to experts and other people's opinion alongside the facts, as opposed to ignoring other people's inputs. So we need to consult others and to listen to the other side to be able to triangulate information we have. Being transparent on about how the decision is made instead of hidden decision making with no clear reasoning. Reviewing outcomes and changing decision when necessary. Yeah, we need to review outcomes, not to stick on decisions, even if feedback shows they are not working. No, being open to change, that's evidence-based decision fact. And instead of stubbornly sticking to decision without considering new facts, and finally considering the risks and the uncertainty involved. Instead of making decisions without thinking about the possible risks. It's not about hoping, trust, and believing. So the information needs to be triangulated. So the rationale, by accommodating or giving a priority to evidence-based decisions in the program development, we improve effectiveness. I think that's clear. We make informed decisions. We ensure the accountability and transparency. We optimize resources, identify gaps, build credibility. We support sustainability, enhance policy and advocacy, informed risk management, meets stakeholders' expectations, and foster learning and knowledge sharing. So now let's come to the learning agenda. Here, sorry for the typo, it's not learning, it's a learning. I think I need to inform you that the way we'll be discussing, actually this is an introduction, We'll be referring to the questions because monitoring evaluation and learning are more about answering or responding to the questions, a learning agenda, as I said earlier. So we have here up to 6 questions that you need to be dealing with. The first one is descriptive questions. Descriptive questions is where we are asking to know what is happening. So we'll be taking a case study, a real life example of how to respond to the descriptive questions. For instance, here in education, what percentage of students attend school regularly? So we are in the presence of data, and then we need to investigate and they came up with the percentage of those that are attending school regularly. Of course, regular need to be defined. Here we have how many children under 5 are malnourished, and so forth. For diagnostic questions that asks why is this happening, just to respond to investigate the reason or the cause of something. So for prescriptive questions that ask what should we do? For instance, what intervention can improve a rural girls' school retention? So when we have so many options, we need to be choosing the most effective or efficient way of doing things. Predictive questions ask what is likely to happen. So this is a predictive analytics. For instance, for agriculture, what is likely to happen to crop productivity if fertilizer subsidies are introduced? So those are the questions we'll be responding directly, not just to stick on theories and other examples that do not make sense. So our sessions will always be practical. Apart from this, that's the reason why in my earlier presentation I showed you that we have, whiteboards where we can write and make discussions live and rich, of course. So detective questions, it tracks outliers and identify groups likely to fail. So I think this is critical. We know to know what are the things that are not normal, what may go wrong, or the interventions that where results where we are not on track to achieve results. Detective. And finally, evaluative questions, mostly for evaluation. That needs to be looking backwards. How well did something perform? Did teacher training program improve student learning outcomes as expected? So knowing the kind of questions, it's a good milestone when before doing any action, any process of the monitoring, evaluation, learning activities or processes. So as I said, statistics will be around. We can't go without statistics. Why? We monitoring, evaluation, and learning is more about collecting data, either qualitative, categorical data or numerical data. So we need to be using them, first of all, to make sense of the numbers. For instance, if you have, like here, the given example, if you see that 70% of people like a certain brand of soda, what does that mean? Does that mean that it's a big deal or it's not? So statistics cannot be avoided when we are now carrying out many activities. The other thing, it helps to find patterns. You can see things happening over time. You need to know what is the trend, the patterns in the data. Like when you notice that more students drop out of schools when it's sunny, statistics can help you confirm that pattern and explain why this happens. So it also helps us predicting the future. Sometimes statistics is used to make predictions. For instance, if you track weather data over time, you can predict the weather tomorrow or next week. I think it's the good example is Amazon. You can see when you navigate, you can see that there are predictions for tomorrow, 1 week after, and 1 month, and so on and so on. So those are the application of statistics. It also helps comparing things. Statistics can help compare groups. If you want to determine whether trained teachers are more effective than non-trained teachers, you can analyze data on student performance, engagement, and the learning outcomes to make an informed conclusions. So you can weigh the pros and cons. It also helps to understand statistics or risks, comparing changes of occurrences, like probability, likelihoods, but also it helps make decisions. You know, there is a way to conclude statistically. So that's one way of justifying that statistics are needed in the monitoring evaluation processes. When we are dealing with the uncertainty, statistics also are involved. They are involved to help us understand the likelihood. Yeah, like how likely it is to rain tomorrow or how accurate a poll is about election results. You know, in the elections, I think you've heard that those statistics are applied, saying this candidate has more chance of winning, or the other one has less chance to win elections. When it comes to sampling, this is things I think you may be aware of. We mostly work on small groups instead of just going to the entire population, because this requires enough much more money. It requires heavy resources. So instead of doing that, we work on small groups and then come up to the conclusion that can be generalizable to the entire population. So when it comes to make data understandable to the extended audience, we make most of the time we use a graphical or visual aids, like charts, graphs. Those help make sense of all numbers. Finally, but not least, avoiding mistakes. Good statistics help you avoid jumping to conclusions based on bad and complete data. It helps you make sure that decisions you make are based on facts, not assumption or misleading. Because you can see in the program development, we also, that's okay that we have learning agenda, we have a logical framework, but also we have assumptions. What if those assumptions do not hold? So with statistics, we keep on monitoring them to make sure that those assumptions are still valid. Otherwise, the results we are now reporting won't be making sense. We'll be relying on the erroneous or incomplete data or misleading information. So basically, this will be short, but let me inform you that we'll be using some key tools. First of all, everyone has Excel installed in his or her computer. This is the first thing to explore. We'll be going using Excel functions in responding to MEL problem or questions, as I said. We'll be using Kobo Toolbox, NVivo for qualitative data, Power BI for visualization, creating dashboard, interactive dashboards, but also for ARA, for those who be interested in exploring statistics, more complicated, more complex statistical processes and the data, of course. So basically, we are there for you. We are blessed to have completed our PhD studies after 6 years, almost 7 years. So now we are there for you until people speak statistical language. Again, referring to the video I made before, we have YouTube, you can explore. We have also LinkedIn, where we communicate actions, events that you are organizing for you to follow our programs. The programs are free, but if you want to have professional certificates, there is also a process you need to be following. Thank you very much for your kind attention.